Coming up on UMTV News, student loan payments have officially restarted. We'll tell you what borrowers should expect after more than a 3-year pause on payments.
Plus, tides are at their highest this season. We'll tell you what you should keep an eye on.
Yeah, and later on, find out what has all these pooches taking a dive in one iconic pool. These stories and more ahead on UMTV News. Hello and welcome to UMTV News. I'm Daryl Barnes.
And I'm Ainsley Vetter. Thank you for joining us. The pandemic-era pause on federal student loan payments has officially ended, and now millions of Americans have another monthly bill to budget. So, how can borrowers best navigate those payments in uncertain economic times, and what could the restart mean for the overall economy? It's October, which means it's time to start making federal student loans payments again after more than a 3-year reprieve due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Betsy Mayotte of the Institute for Student Loan Advisors says the transition could be challenging for some borrowers.
There's been a lot of changes since the pause started. Things like housing and lettuce are a lot more expensive than they were pre-COVID.
Mayotte recommends borrowers use the loan simulator tool at studentaid.gov to determine which repayment option is best for them. And remember, the Biden administration has instituted an on-ramp plan, a grace period on missed payments through September 2024.
Normally with federal student loans, if you're 90 days delinquent or more, it starts getting reported negatively to the credit bureaus. That's not going to happen during these 12 months.
Interest, however, will accrue. Beyond the on-ramp window, Mayotte says to make plans now to avoid default, which happens if payments are not made for 270 days, or about 9 months.
It will have a significant negative impact on your credit report, which can affect other things like buying a house, the interest rates on your credit cards, a car loan, and so on. So default really should be avoided at all costs.
Borrowers in default on federal student loans could also see their federal tax refund or even a portion of their paycheck withheld. If a borrower misses a payment now that the pandemic pause has ended, they could accumulate more debt over time because of interest.
Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy helped prevent a government shutdown over the weekend by working with Democrats to pass a stopgap spending bill. But now he might be ousted for it. On Monday, Florida Representative Matt Gaetz offered a motion to vacate the chair on the House floor, aka fire McCarthy. The vote on the motion is happening right now at the Capitol. McCarthy needs a simple majority to keep his position, but with some Republicans already voting against him, it looks like it could all come down to the Democrats.
The burden falls on him to reach out to House Democrats in pursuit of a negotiated outcome. And there are members like me who will presumptively vote for a motion to vacate unless there's a compelling reason. And at the moment, I see no compelling reason.
If the motion to vacate the speakership passes, we'll see something that's never happened before in American history: a House Speaker removed from their post.
Former President Donald Trump is back in a New York courtroom today. It is day 2 of the $250 million civil fraud trial against him, his eldest sons, and Trump Organization executives. New York Attorney General Letitia James is leading the charge. If Trump is found liable, a ban will be placed on the Trumps serving as business officers in the state, and a ban on their company from doing business for 5 years. The judge in this civil trial estimates this trial will take less than 3 months. And today, Trump told reporters he will take the stand and testify.
Apple's newly released iPhone 15 is giving users some problems. The tech company is currently trying to figure out what's causing the phones to overheat. The tech giant says the phone's overheating problem could be caused from a bug in the iOS 17 software. Apple also says some third-party apps could be to blame due to them overloading the operating system. Among those apps are Instagram and Uber. Even with the problem, Apple is saying the problem will not affect the long-term performance of the phone, though, adding that they have internal components to protect them from heat damage.
The Powerball jackpot now starts with a B. That's right, it has now moved north of $1 billion. And believe it or not, this is not the jackpot's first time at that big number this year. Back in July, a lucky winner from California collected close to $1.1 billion. Right now, the jackpot is estimated at around $1.2 billion, and you can find out if you're the lucky one Wednesday night at 11.
King tides are leaving people closer to home drenched for the past week, but that's expected to end soon. Ryan Gleischer experienced the latest king tide over the weekend and now joins us live with an update on what's happening. Ryan?
Daryl, things are looking pretty dry right here, but closer to the shoreline, that could be a whole different deal as high tide approaches for one final time, creating a flooded mess for citygoers.
That's not rainwater you're looking at. That's runoff from Biscayne Bay making its way to this part of 15th Street in downtown Miami. With this week featuring king tides, a larger than usual pickup in water levels during a new or full moon, low-lying areas like this are being briefly turned into rivers.
We often hear high tide flooding, not just at the coast, but because it's pushing up through the infrastructure, so from some of the stormwater drainage systems, or just the normal city infrastructure. That water is still coming up.
This area right by the Venetian Causeway experiences drainage issues. Here's a look at the area without flooding. It shows the drainage system right where the flooding is happening in this video. Conditions this time of year, including heat, drive the rise in water. But an area largely unnoticed is our atmospheric pressure, which is usually low this time of year.
There's less air pushing down on you when you're under a low pressure system. Well, the ocean responds to that. And under a high pressure, it actually dips down. And when it's under low pressure, it can bulge up.
People may wonder, why don't we build a sturdy seawall to protect ourselves against coastal flooding? Senior researcher at Rasmus, Brian McNulty, explains why here in South Florida, we would still be in a world of trouble.
Like our ground is not real rock. It's actually a porous limestone. The water would filter up through the porous limestone and your wall wouldn't be doing anything.
King tides are expected to be impacting our area until tomorrow.
Brian McNulty also told me that you should not go near the water as it could be toxic and potentially contain diseases. But for now, reporting live from University of Miami, I'm Ryan Gleischer.
Thank you, Ryan.
Time for a short break now, but when we return, the Miami Marlins are postseason bound. We have the details on how they got it done and what they face in tonight's wild card series.
And the famous jawless gator finally has a name. We'll tell you what it is when we return.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
And here on campus, you've heard of Pancakes with Pat, but what about Pizza with Provost Prado? This week, the University of Miami introduced its newest executive with a new student and faculty tradition on the UC patio. Willie Prado is UM's interim executive vice president of academic affairs and provost. And on Thursday, his team stepped out to serve students free pizza on the patio. It was the students' first chance to meet the interim provost since he took over this semester, and some say it was a great first impression.
I didn't talk to him, but he seems really nice, and while I was in line with another friend, he was interacting with some of the students, shaking their hands and just asking, oh, thank you for coming out. Did you guys enjoy yourselves? So it was really nice of him to do that.
And the next day, Provost Prado met with student media for the first time, telling UMTV that his goal is to be visible and present on campus. He's opening his office to students to voice any concerns about their experience in the classroom, and of course, he'll host 2 more pizza parties this semester.
And good news for Canes football fans. Star safety Cameron Kinchins will return on Saturday after a scary hit hospitalized him almost a month ago. The 6-foot, 200-pound safety went down after making a routine play in the fourth quarter of the Canes' win over Texas A&M. Fans and players held their breath as Kinchens was carried off the field in a stretcher and sent to the hospital. Initial reports did not indicate any serious injuries, but Kinchens sat out the Canes' past 2 games. Today, Kinchens spoke to the media for the first time since the hit.
I didn't miss no games in high school 2 years before, so it was kind of a rough patch, kind of missing those games because I kind of pride myself on making sure I'm fighting through whatever. So, but it's a lot of excitement to be back out there with my family.
Kinchens is set to suit up on Saturday as the Canes host Georgia Tech at 8 p.m. And the squad will also be rocking Kinchens' favorite alternate Miami night uniforms.
The MLB playoffs are back, and the Miami Marlins are officially playoff bound after an improbable close to the regular season. The Fish are in Philadelphia to face the Phillies tonight at 8 in Game 1 of the Wild Card Series, but it almost didn't happen. The Finns came into Saturday among 4 teams within 2 games of the National League's 2 wild card spots. But with a 7-3 win over the Pirates and a little bit of good fortune from the other teams, Miami secures its first playoff spot since 2020. It's also the first time the team has made it in a full Major League season since 2003.
The Venetian pool in Coral Gables turned into a doggy playground over the weekend. Our reporter Finn Wilson is live to tell us how these pups beat the heat. Finn?
Yeah, guys, that's right. And it's no secret either. With temperatures still in the 90s, we have to find some way to cool off. And our furry friends are jumping into the deep end at Coral Gables Venetian pools and doggy paddling their way into cooler temperatures. Nestled in its own tropical oasis, the Coral Gables Venetian pool serves as a space for rest and relaxation. But last Sunday, the pool opened their gates, and members with a nose for excitement came running in packs.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
During the pool's annual dog swim event, pups from across the community line up nose to tail for their turn to blow off a little steam. Rosie Starr, a resident of the Coconut Grove area, celebrates her second birthday with a new experience, poolside in the Gables.
So she's not saltwater fan, so this was like perfect. And we've been trying to come see the place because it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really spectacular.
Yeah, it is.
Seen pictures, but it's super cool to be here.
It is.
The slogan for today's festivities, no pups, no passage. Coral Gables residents are encouraged to bring their canines for a day at the pool as long as they meet the requirements for admission. Members entering the event must have proof of their pet's rabies vaccination, get control over and avoid aggressive situations, and be willing to clean up after their pet in case of an emergency. Dog swim veteran Steve Chasins has been coming to the pool with his dog Holly for years and says events like these bring out the best in others and in dogs.
It's good for the dogs, and dog owners want their dogs to be happy. If your dog's happy, you're happy. And the dogs are happy here. Big shout out to the commissioners and the government of the city of Coral Gables for making this happen. They have not only the infrastructure, but the desire. And I commend them for that.
No running. Anyone is welcome to attend this community event with their pup and must purchase a ticket online on the Coral Gables website. And yes, tennis balls are provided.
She needs like at least 1 hour of running with other dogs or by herself, whatever, but like running nonstop.
We had an amazing time. Her tail was wagging the whole time.
And it was really well organized because it's difficult to organize a thing like this, and it was really
great
well
participation. All fun dogs, everybody having a good time.
And if you've missed this year's event, don't worry, it'll be back next year. And I can guarantee you that your furry friend will have some fun in the sun. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Finn Wilson.
Thanks, Finn. And speaking of cute animals, we have an update on a story we brought you a couple weeks ago.
Remember the alligator that was found wandering in Central Florida with the top half of its jaw missing?
Yep. The Gatorland Animal Sanctuary took her in, and she continues to receive treatment in isolation.
And now she has a name that's a perfect fit. It's Jolene. That's a nod to Dolly Parton's famous 1973 song Jolene, and it was chosen from a list of names submitted to Gatorland.
Park officials also say that they are considering fitting Jolene with prosthetic upper jaw when she regains more weight and feels more comfortable in her new environment. How sweet is that?
Super sweet, but that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us on UMTV News.